Right, so we're live on the monthly Node.js Security Working Group agenda meeting. I'm gonna pull in everyone required on this session before we go live on the agenda. Right, so we're live on the monthly Node.js Security Working. So Sam, are you still having issues to connect? Okay, let me move you to the panelist and you should be okay now. All right. So Sam should connect in a second and everyone are on the panel, we can start. So moving on with item 593, paying bounties on HackerOne. Let's open this one up. Sam, if you connected back, you should.
I'm here, great, thank you.
All right, awesome. Alrighty, so 593 paying bounties on HackerOne started by us figuring out that we have a bounty system for HackerOne for the node working group, the ecosystem one specifically. Alec from HackerOne chimed in with this issue, basically saying that we have quite a lot of reports that might be potential for a bounty, except none of them have been triaged. Following that, I have joined into that queue, see what's going on, and figured out that there's probably less than 10 of them that are eligible out of almost 300 per our criteria at the repository's bug bounty criteria markdown document. We have proposed that bounty for critical is 500, bounty for high is 250. We haven't yet we haven't yet given out the bounties themselves. Probably waiting any proposal or a dismissal on this working group session to figure out if this if anyone has any issues with starting this out. So this is the current status. I would say there are probably about 10 of those. We just added Yarn as a project that is supported. And I think there's probably one or two that have been sent before as vulnerabilities for Yarn. So those will be an additional 2 to about 8 of them that exist so far. And then if we agree, we can also pay out the bounties themselves to whoever sent them out. So does anyone object to rolling this out and starting to pay out the bounties based on this proposal?
If it meets the criteria, it seems like it should just happen.
Yep. I mean, yeah, we have the criteria. I think the only thing that was missing from the criteria was the actual amount of like the payout. So the criteria identifies which models, and we have that worked out. We just need to, we haven't, I think, worked out the agreement on what is the amount of paying out. And originally on that session, I think, actually that wasn't on this session, I think it was already on the Node Slack. There was like discussions around $1,000 for the bounty, except I think it will run out our funds quite fast. And so I suggested a smaller amount. And from that, we got to bounty for critical, which is the highest level, to 500, and bounty for high to 250. So if there's any, I think that makes sense, but still, if anyone wants to suggest a different approach, we can discuss. All right, so I'll mark it as discussed in the working group agenda meeting. And nobody rejects, so let's kick off the bounty. Wait a minute. Ready. Thank you, Anonymous Badger, updating this in real time there. Next, moving on to Membership review 591. I think that one is something that Marcian initiated. Yep, that's the one. Right. So before we onboard new members, we have done our annual membership review. I believe that mostly a major chunk of everyone confirmed they are on, and then 2 weeks have passed without hearing from several members. So Andre, Brian English, Bryce Braille, which is not in this call, and David. How about we? Oh, I see that we also are missing Devon. Okay. So I would say maybe another ping over perhaps social media or another contact where we know them, just to see if they are still wanting to take part, but just on a holiday, leave, vacation, whatever, just being flooded with maybe GitHub spam emails of notifications. Let's reach out one more time and see. Maybe if a week past that, no reply or not interested in staying, we can update on the issue queue. What do you all think?
Sounds very reasonable to me.
Alrighty. So let me update that as an action item. Awesome. Proposal to use CVSS 3.1. I think this one is also one of Marcin's. Let's see. Yep. So from Marcin, if I remember correctly, this is basically HackerOne supporting 3.1, or at least I remember Alec also asking us on the private issue if we want to move to this, to 3.1 CVSS scores. Let's see if there's any technical difficulties making this happen. Yes, so since, I guess since the CVSS string itself, which is something we also need to consider, is identified by whether this is, like the meta actually defines whether this is a 3.1 or 3.0 formatted score. I guess in that regard, we're not going to need to do any database upgrade stuff to like align it to a specific format, since the old can remain 3.0 and any new reports can be 3.1. Some changes to temporal environment, whether we want to take a look into that when we triage. So I think it does take into account more of a triage, like during triage, taking some assumptions. So yeah, looks like last update from Alec as well, about the feature moving this on. All right. So at this point, looks like this proposal of supporting 3.1 is merely a supported product on HackerOne that needs to be updated. Maybe it already does. Just need to catch up with Alec on that issue. I'll reply after this call. And I guess nothing else from that, except maybe us, maybe me and Marcin or someone else who can articulate just some of the minor differences so that any new triage member is able to roll in with 3.1 style triage. Any other notes or thoughts on this one? Yeah. I think that one is pretty straightforward. Right, so moving on to 511. 511 is reaching out to other projects of the OpenJS Foundation. this is in effort to broaden our reach, see if we can communicate with some of the other members of the Open JS Foundation, and kind of communicate back and collaborate back with larger security ecosystems. So what do we think about that one? Anyone has any leads beyond the issue itself, which is seems to be just like an invite to do that? While we think about that, I see that. Yeah, go Sam.
I was going to say, is anybody here involved in those meetings with the OpenJS Foundation, or?
Yes, I see that Michael and you related with regards to the Cross Project Council, but I haven't been myself.
I'm not involved at all with the OpenJS Foundation.
Yeah. No, it's just so I say it's just
Michael is. I
thing
guess
on the issue.
who would involve, like somebody from the working group would have to kind of lead making contact with the foundation and probably show up in a different meeting. And
I agree.
And kind of to be pushing, like it's not going to happen unless some individual is interested enough to push it forward.
For sure. How about we ping? What do you think about pinging everyone on the security working group in this issue and asking who wants to maybe champion this out? I know that Vladimir opened it, but seems like he's also been quite busy as the rest of us.
Marcin's not here, right?
Yeah, Marcin is not here. I mean, yeah, we can also reach out to Marcin as well.
Okay, well, okay.
I see that there's been by Marcin a couple of comments on that for Michael Daxon and myself, but I haven't had a chance to review that one. And I agree, Sam, you're right. We need someone to connect with the Cross Project Council to figure this out, because this is anyway a request to do a cross OpenJSF anyway activities. So someone needs to be there. Let's take a note of that and ping everyone in the security working group again, see if anyone wants to champion this, with perhaps pinging both Marcin and Vladimir Hope on the issue to give it a first go, see if they want to jump on it on this one. Right, so this seems to be all of these sessions, working items. Does anyone see if there's any questions from Q&A on the live session on YouTube?
That's on YouTube somewhere. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, it should be in the chat. I'll also open that.
Maybe I guess.
Try to see if there's anything.
I'm looking too. Yeah. It says live stream offline. Does that mean we're not live?
Could have been that we've closed that, I guess. I do know that we were live for a second, but it's possible this got closed during my browsing on all of the issues. So we're not online now. It does say live on YouTube on my presenter panel, so I assumed we are still live.
Okay, some sort of technical problem, but anyhow, there's nobody pinging us with any questions.
All right, I'll take a picture of this maybe. See if we can figure it out afterwards. All right, so looks like we're off to a close. Does anyone want to bring up anything else that we may have missed? All right, so thank you all for joining. And I guess I'll see you at the next monthly meeting. Bye, everyone.